So somehow, despite everything, Suicide Squad is still the #1 movie in America. You gotta admit, this is pretty impressive. There was a lot of bad word of mouth surrounding this movie. Also, too, not to mention the big releases like Sausage Party, the new Pete's Dragon, Florence Foster Jenkins. Now, I don't think this is going to stay on top for much longer. In fact, I think it's going to suffer the same fate as Batman vs. Superman, have a relatively strong opening, and then peter out dramatically by the end of its run. But if you were to ask me why I think this movie is still #1, I honestly think it has everything to do with the live-action debut of this woman. Because within the last few years, Harley Quinn may have just become the most popular character in all of comics, and I don't say that lightly. This is Harley Quinn. Well, specifically, this is Harley Quinn as I know her. She was created in 1992 by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm for Batman the Animated Series. She proved so popular that in 1999, DC had no choice but to add her to their ongoing canon, officially becoming a part of Batman's ongoing legacy. Harley Quinn just seemed like a natural fit from the beginning, like she was always meant to be there. Hell, I'm surprised it took DC 7 years to add her to the comics officially. But yeah, she was popular. She was a part of many major storylines like No Man's Land and Hush, and even got her own 38-issue ongoing solo series. And of course, we can't forget about the Arkham series of video games. She was a major player in those, and it was one of the first times her iconic look got a redesign. But I don't think it was truly understood how popular she was until the New 52 happened. See, when DC decided to relaunch everything in 2011 and brand all their comics under the New 52, writer Adam Glass wanted to add Harley Quinn to the new Suicide Squad book he was writing. Now, Harley Quinn had never been a part of Suicide Squad before this. This is a brand new direction for the character and really a brand new direction for the squad. But it wound up working very well. Harley became the breakout star of the new Suicide Squad series, so much so they gave her a new ongoing written by Amanda Conner and her husband Jimmy Palmiotti. And it was that series that really pushed her over the edge in terms of fan support. She had now become an anti-hero who was trying to do good and distance herself from the Joker. The series became about her forging a new identity as much as it became about having wacky adventures. And her popularity just kept growing from there. In addition to her ongoing in the Suicide Squad comic, we got Harley Quinn and her gang of Harleys, we got Harley Quinn's Little Black Book, we got Harley Quinn and Power Girl, we even got a Suicide Squad April Fool's special that she headlined. I mean, Jesus, only Batman has ever had this many titles at a time. Harley Quinn has really become a major player in the DC universe. In an interview with Vulture, co-publisher Jim Lee stated that he thinks of Harley as DC's fourth pillar, right up there with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. That's a pretty big deal, especially when you consider that traditionally only Batman and Superman each headline more than one book a month. Hell, Wonder Woman usually doesn't get more than one main book at a time, and here comes this young whippersnapper with 4 major releases in April. Now, I think it's pretty easy to see why Harley became so popular in the first place. She was a fun, energetic addition to the Batman mythology, and it makes sense. Batman has an iconic sidekick. It only makes sense for his greatest villain to have one as well. But what could have caused this big breakout of the last few years? Well, if you were to ask me in 2013 when her solo series debuted, I would have said it's because DC turned her into Deadpool. I mean, you can't really blame a guy for thinking that. Her stories were much more serious in tone during the New 52, much like the rest of the line was. And then all of a sudden she's on roller skates and her big oversized hammer is back and she has a talking stuffed beaver because it's wacky. That's not to say the wackiness doesn't have a place. It does. And for the most part, her fourth wall breaking and wackiness is a lot more subdued than that of Deadpool's. Except for the character of Red Tool, that's pretty much on the nose. But once you actually read the book, you realize it goes beyond all the wacky stuff, and it actually makes good on Paul Dini's original theory for the character. Paul Dini once said that of all of Batman's rogues, the Dark Knight personally thinks that Harley can be saved, that she can be returned to sanity and return to a normal life. And the Conner Palmiotti series really embraces this idea. She returns to her Harleen Quinnzel identity and starts practicing psychiatry again. She learns to value human life and even moves away from the Joker, at one point straight up breaking up with him. She starts to form new relationships with the gang of Harleys and this guy, who I keep forgetting isn't Glenn Danzig. They've even managed to expand on her special relationship with Poison Ivy, if you know what I mean. Usually, when a publisher wants to take a traditionally villainous character and make them a good guy, it sucks. Sure, it may be cool to see Deathstroke and Venom headline a solo series where they're doing anti-hero type things, but it usually winds up pretty bad in the end. After a while, it's just not the character you remember. They're either too good or all the heroics that they're doing just feels out of place. Harley, on the other hand, is still Harley. She was never as dangerous as the Joker to begin with, and because Batman thought she can be redeemed, on some level, we the audience thought so too. And if you ask me, this is the reason why her hero climb since 2013 has never felt out of place or forced. Now that she's in a big budget movie played by a very well liked actress and played to perfection, I might add, her legend can only grow from here. So if you're one of those people who are sick of seeing Harley Quinns at Comic-Con, I hate to say it, but she's not going anywhere. I know once October hits and New York Comic-Con rolls around, it's just going to be a sea of Harleys. All different kinds. Classic, movie, modern, you name it. Might as well just sit back and enjoy the ride, guys. At least they're not in character like the Deadpool cosplayers are. Those guys take it to a whole nother level. So what do you guys think about the rise of Harley Quinn? Are you surprised she's as popular as she is? Or are you already sick of her? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. Here's hoping she doesn't wind up like Hal Jordan, who also had a really successful relaunch in comics a few years ago and was one of the top pillars of the company. Then a really bad movie came out and they oversaturated the market with Green Lantern stuff, and now he's been knocked down a few pegs. Anyway, as always, like if you like, subscribe if you really like, share this video with a friend. Don't forget, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are new videos, and Wednesday night, Wulff Den Live. If you miss it, catch it on Thursday or on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I know this is not a good movie. Yes. It has a lot of problems, a lot of structural problems, a lot of plot problems, But like, while I was watching it, I was enjoying moments of it.
And with The Wrap reporting that Warner Brothers is putting a Man of Steel sequel into active development, it looks like we're finally going to get that second solo Superman movie. So what should they do to make Man of Steel 2 not only better than its predecessor, but the top tier DC movie it really should be?